Hi students, my name is Miss Para and I'm a counselor at the Harbor College Transfer Center. And in this video, we're going to go over how to apply to Cal States for our fall 2023 transfer admission. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your internet browser and you're going to search CSU application. Just like that. And then it's going to be the first result, calstate.edu/apply. And when you click on that, you're going to go ahead and once it loads, you're going to scroll down to where it says the fall 2023 application is now open. You're going to change it to fall 2023. Make sure it is set to fall 2023 too. If you pick any other semester, it's going to look very unusual and it's not going to really work at all. So you want to choose fall 2023 if you're applying for fall 2023 and choose apply now. From there, if you already have an account, let's say you applied in high school or you applied last year, you're going to go ahead and enter your login information. If you don't remember your username or password, you can click on this and you can enter in your email address and they'll email you your username and help you get back into your account. Now, if you don't have one, then you are going to click create an account and you're going to enter your information here. Don't forget, it only asks for one preferred phone number. Please enter your phone number correctly, double check it, right? And note your username, password, and agree to terms and conditions. I would say I've never had a student actually be in the European Union data country when they're applying to Cal State. So normally the answer is no here, but it's just all your information, first name, last name. Please make sure you spell your first and last name correctly as well. You don't know how many times students spell their name wrong, and it results in a lot of issues later on down the line. So you're going to go ahead and enter that information and go on from there. So once you enter all of your information, just like this, you're going to go ahead and create your account. And I do recommend you save your password to your computer if you're using a personal computer. Now, next, you're going to answer the extended profile question. So you're going to indicate your degree goal. So normally it's your first bachelor's degree, and you're either transferring with an associate degree for transfer or just transferring from a community college. So a lot of my students transfer with an ADT or AAT, AST. You're going to indicate if you are doing so, that you're earning it from Los Angeles Harbor College. And the program, just depending on your major, right? So if you're a business student and you're taking business calculus, then you're getting the business administration 2.0. If you're a comm major, then you could choose communication studies or psychology, for example. And then from there, will you have or will you receive a second ADT? Normally the answer is no, unless you are intentionally getting 2 degrees. The only degree that normally gets 2 is business. Normally the business 2.0 students also simultaneously get the econ ADT. And the reason is simply because the econ and business requirements overlap so much that the students get both degrees. Okay. Are you applying to return to the same CSU campus which you previously intended and to complete the same major? You can choose yes or no for this. Normally it's no. If you put yes, if you're applying to the same Cal State that you used to go to for the exact same major, that's considered a readmit. So you should actually talk to the university to determine how they want you to go about returning to the campus. And it's normally a different procedure. But normally students are not trying to go back to the Cal State that they went to before if they originally attended at Cal State. And then whatever applies to you in terms of the military, this section here, do you have or will you have an F1 visa or J1 visa? This is for my international students, which you know for a fact if you have a visa. So if you do have an F1 visa or J visa, you can choose yes, but normally it's a no for my students. Most of our students are domestic applicants. And you want to mark California as your home state as long as it truly is your home state, okay? Now, you can go ahead and start adding applications. So you can either filter the application by campus. Let's say I want to apply to Dominguez, Fullerton, and Long Beach, right? Those are pretty popular campuses. Now, you normally do not want to choose the extension majors, right? These are online programs. They're more expensive than the regular programs at the campus. So don't choose these. You're normally going to go for the regular undergraduate program. So let's say, for example, at Dominguez, I want to pick, so I put my major as business, right? So I'm going to choose business accounting at Dominguez, right? and it says, oh, the major is considered dissimilar, you can still choose that, yes, you want to apply to the program, even though it's considered dissimilar to the associate degree for transfer in business. The reason being the Dominguez program only requires stats, and the Business Administration 2.0 program that we have requires business calculus and stats. That's why it's considered dissimilar, but you're still welcome to apply. Let's say from there, I want to go to Fullerton, right? So you can just keep scrolling down until it changes over to Fullerton. And see, the first thing that comes up is extension. So you want to avoid those and just go directly to the regular Fullerton undergraduate and pick a major from that section there. If you need help determining which major you can apply to, you're welcome to see a counselor at the transfer center and we can help you, okay? So we can make sure you have all the classes that you need. So from there, I'm going to click view selected programs. And as you can see now, they appear here. Okay, back. Uh-oh. Sorry, it's easy to like go back and forth in this application. But I have the programs, right? And then there is a button right here that says continue. And now it'll show you I applied to Fullerton and Dominguez. Now, if I decided, oh no, I really didn't want to go to Fullerton, I can hit the trash can button and I can add a different campus by clicking add more programs here. Or if I'm just fine with these, I can go ahead and continue on. You can also keep adding campuses. When you click submit application, it'll show you the campuses you applied to, and you can click add a program to add more schools. Now, when it comes to my application, you have to finish each of these 4 boxes. Once they turn completely green, that means the section's done. So the first section we're going to go to is personal information. That kind of went fast, but it's this box here. Now you're going to want to enter all of your information. There is a release statement. You do have to read over these carefully and verify that you agree to these terms. The next section is biographic information. So you're going to go ahead and put all of your information here related to your personal info. Okay. Contact information goes here. So you're going to choose your address, right? Everything like that. Phone number, email. You want to make sure your phone number and email is correct. This is also our transfer center's phone number. You're welcome to call us if you ever have questions. Now, citizenship and residency, this is a section that's really delicate, and we want to make sure that you fill it out correctly. So for my students that are U.S. citizens, you can indicate U.S. citizen here. If you're born outside of the United States, but you're still a U.S. citizen, you can indicate the year that you moved to the United States. And then you want to make sure this says California as long as you're a California resident. And you always want to mark, yes, you claim California residency if you have been here and this is your home state. Have you lived in California continuously since birth? Sometimes the answer is no, and that's okay. You can put when you moved to California. Maybe it was in 2001 when you were a little baby, right? You could put an estimate of when. You can ask your family when you moved to California, things like that. But you want to make sure you indicate so. And then if you're a dreamer, it's a little bit different for you. So I'll go over how to do this part as a dreamer. Now, if you're a dreamer, then you're going to answer this set of questions differently. So for the best description of the student, you would indicate for citizenship, you can put none there. Country of citizenship, you can indicate the country of citizenship that you possess. So let's say the student is from Cambodia. And if you're born outside of the U.S., what year did you or will you move to the United States? Let's say the student moved to Cambodia, from Cambodia to the United States in 2001. And let's say the student still claims California residency. It's their home. Have you lived in California since birth? You can indicate no. And maybe if your parents don't remember the exact date, but they know for sure it was like January 2001, you can just go through this calendar and go to, let's say, January 10th, 2001. My goodness, this calendar is a little bit, I know, it's a little unusual. Let's try to just type it in. 01/01 2001, let's say that was it. Okay, and then you can save it just as so. And then moving on to the next section. So this is how you can navigate very easily. Race and ethnicity, it'll ask you questions about your ethnic background. It says California State University often needs to report only one summary race ethnicity description for a person. Please select your reporting preferences. So students can indicate whatever they would like here based on their identification, right? Whatever you would like to put. Okay. And then you can just answer each other question here. And then in other information, it asks the student's social security number. If you have a US social security number, you can put yes there and enter your SSN or no. And it said international undocumented students and other exceptions may not have an SSN and should check the box below. I acknowledge that I do not have a US social security number. So if that's the case, yes. Sometimes students, though, they do still have an SSN, even though they don't fit the regular citizenship. So just depending on you, please answer as accurately as possible. Your California statewide student ID number, you don't have to enter it if you don't have it on hand. It is an ID number on your high school transcript. So you would put that there if you have access to your high school transcript and you went to a public California K through 12 school. It's not an admission requirement to give the ID number, but you can if you have it. And they do ask about your first language proficiency, right? So you can indicate what was your first language. If you're a military dependent, you can indicate so here. For example, let's say the student's parent is a veteran. They can indicate their parent is a veteran here. And then the next questions, are you in good standing with your last school attended? So if your last school attended is Harbor and you're in good standing with us, you can choose yes. If you have ever been disciplined for academic performance, such as academic probation, let's say at Harbor College, you were on probation 1 year, you would explain here what happened. Now I recommend for my students that they just be honest and indicate if they were ever on probation. Maybe let's say, for example, the student had a baby and they were having a really hard time after with just like, navigating childcare and the parenting experience. And they just needed, they needed some time to gain more stability, right? So they could focus on school. Then you can just put an explanation there. If you've never been on academic probation, never been disqualified or anything like that, you can put no to all these, but always be honest. That's the main point for this section. Be honest. It's okay. They don't automatically deny students for having ever been put on probation. But if they do find out you were ever on probation and you lied, they can deny you for that. So just be honest. And if you're interested in becoming a teacher, you can answer yes or no. If you're not interested in being a teacher, you can put no there. And then a lot of the Cal States, they really want to encourage students to learn about CalFresh. So if you do want to participate in CalFresh and learn more about it, you can go ahead and choose yes here, and they'll check your eligibility for CalFresh. And then if you are earning an ADT and you want to complete your degree in 2 years, they do have a California Promise. So you can choose yes if you want to do Cal Promise at the Cal State. And then do you have an RN license? Unless you just finished the Harbor College nursing program, more than likely you don't. But if you did finish our nursing program and you have an RN license now, you can put yes and put in your license number there. If not, you can put no. And then how did you hear about us through Cal State Apply? You can choose whatever applies to you. A lot of our students, they hear about it from their counselor, so you can put that there. And then you can go ahead and move on to the next section. And it is financial and parental information. So you want to read through these statements carefully. It is trying to determine if you are considered a independent or dependent student, meaning are you independent of your parents' financial support and you're taking care of yourself financially, or are you dependent and rely on your parents for financial support? And really, it's not even based on your experiences. It's based on whether you answer yes to any of these. If you answer yes to any of these, then you're considered independent. If none of these apply to you, then you would put none of these apply to me, and you have to put your parents' information here, okay? So a lot of my students are like, no, I'm 20, but I live on my own and I don't live with my parents, right? But if you're only 20, like this, you might not be considered independent still, right? So you want to make sure you read these carefully, and you do have to be honest. So if they don't apply to you, then you just have to put your parents' info here, okay? And then it's going to ask the total of your parents' household, including yourself, parents, and other household members. So put as many as are under your roof. And parents' gross income, you'll put that here. Untaxed income, for example, is child support. Child support is one of them. Another one is like, for example, cash earned from a job, let's say, for example, I'm a babysitter on the weekends and I am paid cash by the parents, then that is my untaxed income. Campus housing. Are you interested in on-campus housing? Should space be available? No, housing availability is subject to your submission of a separate campus housing application and availability. So you could put yes or no here, whatever you would like. And then your parents' education level will go here. Now, if one of the above or more apply to you, you have to put your information. So your household size and children living with you, if you have any children living with you. And then your income goes here. And then any untaxed income that you receive, such as child support payments, for example, or if you make extra money as a babysitter or anything like that. And then if you're interested in housing on campus, and then parent education level would go here. Okay, so once you're done with that section, this green box is going to go this green circle is going to completely fill up. The next section you're going to do is academic history, which we'll go through together. So when it comes to the academic history section, you want to enter every section very carefully. For your high school, you want to enter the zip code that it was in, right? And you actually want to enter all high schools that you've ever attended. So if you went to Mary Star and then Pedro, or Pedro and then Mary Star, you have to add both campuses individually. Let's say you went from August 2016 through June 2020. You're a class of 2020 student. Type of term, semester. And then save the school. Okay, and then you would indicate that you have or will graduate with your high school diploma and choose San Pedro High School again. Let's say your graduation date. You can do an estimate if you don't remember the exact day, but let's say it was June 2022. And then that is, 2020. And then that is how you save your transcript, okay? Your high school attendance, excuse me. The next section, academic info, it just asks if your high school is outside of the United States. In that case, no, it wasn't. Next section. So you're going to add your colleges that you attended. So I'm going to show you an example with an actual transcript. And it's just little sections of the transcript, right? So we can check when the student attended a specific campus from. And these are LAHC Harbor College transcripts. So we're going to see right here, the student started beginning of record, spring 2006. So you're going to add a college. It's going to be Los Angeles Harbor College. Yes, the student's earning a degree in progress. It's going to be Associate of Science for Transfer, Business Administration, okay? Because they're not going to have Business 2.0 in this part. This section right here is pretty generic, like the degree types. So you just put the best response that matches. And it's going to be that you're graduating in June 2023. And then if you're getting a second ADT, for example, in econ, you would do degree in progress, Associate of Arts for Transfer. It's going to be economics. And that's going to be June 2023 as well. Semester, we're on semester at Harbor. In-state tuition, as long as you're getting in-state. And then as you can see on the transcript, we need to start from spring 2006 when the student began. Do not try to go based off of memory. You do really have to go based off of what appears on your transcript. And then if you're still attending Harbor College, which 9 times out of 10 you are, you can check that you're still attending this college. And then you're going to add your next campus. So let's say you went to El Camino. You do need to add El Camino on there. You need to refer to your El Camino transcripts to add them. In this student's case, the student also went to City College and Southwest in summer school, right? See, in the college section, it has LACC and LASC instead of LAHC. So you need to add those 2 campuses too. So let's do Los Angeles City College. No degree from City College. You just took a class there for summer school. They're on semester, in-state tuition. And you went from summer, June, right? Like on the transcript, 2022 through summer, and it says it ended in August 2022. Okay, so you need to do that through your transcript and add each campus individually. Once you're done adding all of your colleges that you've attended, you're going to go ahead and go on to the next section, which is college coursework. So you have to add every single class you've ever taken, right? So you have to start at the very top of your transcript and go through each individual class and put it. So let's say, for example, you have the spring 2006, right? So we're going to start with Harbor. That's when the student started with us. You're going to click add a semester. And it's going to be spring 2006. Now your first 30 units, you're considered a freshman. So you can go ahead and put freshman because this is your very first class that you took, and you can mark it as completed. So you're going to add the class. Now in this case, the class was speech 121 and the student earned a grade of F. So for this class, you're going to put speech. And as you can see, speech 121 does appear here. Subject is communications. So you can mark that. And as you can see, if you type really quickly the class, it'll auto-populate for you. Sometimes you have to scroll down a little bit, but it's pretty fast that way. Now the student got an F, but as you can see, it says the course was repeated and excluded from the GPA. So instead of putting the F here, you're going to put a capital R, capital P. Okay, and that's the only class the student took. So we can hit save now. Okay, and then that saves the semester for the student. And then you're going to add the next class. Let's say it was fall 2008. And it's going to be freshman again. And then it was completed. So you're going to add the course. And it's going to be you're going to go in the exact same order as it appears on the transcript too, by the way. So you need to go in that same order. So 001. Okay, subject is sociology. And the grade was an A. And the next class is that speech 121 again, but this time the student got an A. So that is when we add the new grade. So it'll be speech 121, communications, grade of A. And save. And then you just move forward, continuing to add classes. Now this student took in spring 2017, we're just going to skip through the transcript a little bit for the example. In real life, when you're working on this application, you have to go line by line through the transcript and add every single class. You do not skip a single class. You do not only put your passing grades, you have to put everything. So if you got, for example, a W, you have to put your W's in there. If you got an EW, you have to add your EWs, okay? So in this example, I just want to show you an example of a non-transferable class. If it's non-transferable, it'll only say AAAS on there. So in this case, it's math 125. So the student took it in spring 2017. And it was at that point, let's say they were a sophomore, right? Because it had more than 30 units done by then. And it was completed because that semester is over. And it's going to be math 125. So as you can see, math 125 does not appear here. You can put 125, but no results are found. So you just leave it like this and you move on to the next section because you typed it out manually. The course title is right here, Intermediate Algebra. Okay, subject is mathematics. And this was a 5-unit class. And for this student, the student got a W. So instead of a grade of like A, B, C, D, F, you just put a W there. Make sure it's a capital letter for the grade. And you're not going to mark transferable because as you can see here, it's only for AAAS degree. And then you can choose save there. Okay, and then you would just continue on adding every single class individually until it is a specific carbon copy of your entire transcript. Now, in the student's final semester, I'll show you how that is going to look as well. So when you look at your transcript and you see that you have classes in progress for fall, and I do recommend, I know you already know your schedule, I'm sure for fall, we're well into the fall semester. But I still recommend students look at their transcript to verify what they're actually enrolled in. So you'll add fall 2022, sophomore, for example. After your first 30 units, you can mark it as sophomore. And since it's fall right now, you're going to put it as in progress plan because you don't have grades yet. Maybe you do for a couple of classes, and I'll show how to add those too. Right now, we're going to focus on classes that you haven't got grades in. So in this case, the student's taking ARG 162. Classes architecture. And we don't have to put a grade because it's in progress. And the next class is CS 116. Oh, I put a space. If you don't put a space, it should auto-populate with the class. But if you put a space between the course and the number, then it might not auto-populate. Computer science. So you want to look for the closest thing you can to the class, in this case, computer science for CS. And then next one is engineering general 111. For this class, there's not quite an engineering general, so you can just put engineering. That's fine. And then you're going to save. Now, I do recommend that you have a counselor ed plan on file when you work on the application. The reason is because you want to make sure that you are in the right classes for fall, winter, and spring to verify that you'll complete all the requirements for the campus that you're applying to. So this would be an example of how an education plan would look like for fall semester, winter, and spring. So you want to make sure you add all of those classes. This is, of course, from a different student. As you can see they're taking different classes, but just for convenience, we'll put the winter schedule here. So in this case, the student's taking classes in winter 2023, they're taking philosophy 1. So we'll mark it as sophomore. In progress planned again. And it's because the Cal States want to know every single class you're taking for the rest of the year until you transfer. So you don't want to just put what's in progress for fall. You want to put also what you're going to take winter and spring. And if you don't know what you should be taking, or you've been trying to figure out on your own, the thing is with the Cal States, you need to apply knowing that you have the exact classes that they need from you. Otherwise, you're going to have a very hard time getting admitted to Cal States without taking the correct courses. So the counselor plan for the student, the Chem 102. Physio 1. And then the history 58. Okay, and the student has their spring schedule saved. So now we know we have all the way until spring 2023. Now, let's say you're in a fall class that already ended. Let's say it was in the first 8 weeks, right? For this fall 2022. Let's say in the first 8 weeks, I took Com 101 and I got an A. And I can't add it because I marked fall 2022 as in progress. So you can add an interim term. So that's right here, interim 2022, sophomore, and then you can mark it as completed. And that's where I can add my Com 101, subject is communication. I got a grade of A in that class. And let's say in the first 8 weeks, I took math 227. I can add math. And let's say I got a B there. And let's just add like one more English 101. Let's say I took all 3 of those classes in the first 8 weeks and I got A's in all of them. So you want to make sure that you add any grades that you already got, because what happens is those will get contributed to your GPA. And once you're done adding your classes for Harbor, you can just go ahead and move on to the next campus and make sure you add those. So I'm just going to really quickly do the class that my student took at City College 2. So we'll go ahead and add those in that one class here. So depending on the student, right? Some students took all of their classes at Harbor College, and that's just fine. Some students, they went to other schools like El Camino, Compton, Santa Monica, right? So you just want to make sure you put every single class you ever took at every single college. If you took a summer class, you can just mark it as summer 1. That's just fine. The student took math 275, which is ordinary differential equations at LA City College in summer. We'll mark them as sophomore, completed. Math 275, subject of mathematics, and then that was a grade of, student got an A. So you can add that there and choose save. And once you're done adding all of your classes, you can just say yes, that you entered your transcript completely and save. The next section is standardized tests. So for my students who have AP scores, advanced placement scores from high school, you can add them here. So let's say you took AP Spanish. You can add in here AP Spanish language. Yes, I took the exam. If you have your AP score, which I recommend that you do have it on hand, you include your AP ID number here. Let's say the student took the AP test, excuse me, in May 2020. Okay, because they were a class of 2020 graduate for our example. Let's say they took it on May 15th, 2020. They got a 5. Okay, they could say that score. And if you want to add another test, another AP score, let's say you took AP European history, and they took it again, same day, May 15th, 2020. They got a 5 on that one. So you just add all of your AP scores there. And see how it shows on here. Now I have AP Spanish language and culture, AP European history, right? CLEP scores are college level examination program scores. Normally my students never have those. I only had one student with a CLEP score. But if you have CLEP scores, you can go ahead and add them. And then same thing with IB, International Baccalaureate Test Score. If you have those, you can put them in. But in my 6 years counseling, I have not had a single student with IB scores at all either. Now, let's say you took the TOEFL, right? Let's say you took, or something like that, you can add it, but they actually don't have a space for TOEFL. But that's okay. They really don't go off with standardized tests for transfer students at all. They go off of your classes. It says, for international students, you can report your TOEFL exam. But I think it does look a little different if you're international. I think they add TOEFL here. And for general education, you have the oral comm section, which is the comm 101 that the student took, English 101, right? That's your written communication. For critical thinking, that's normally English 102. So that one should appear. I think the student had it scheduled for spring 2023. So yeah, it appears right here as in progress planned. So once these classes are in there, you can choose save and continue. And then as you can see, this section's done. So you can move on to the next one, supporting info. Now, if you're getting an associate degree for transfer, you're going to put your Harbor College ID number here. It's normally a 9000 number or an 88 number, depending on the student, but you put that there. California College Community, or California Community College ID number is the ID number from your CCC Apply account when you apply to Harbor College. If you don't have that number saved, it's okay. You don't have to enter it. It's not a requirement. Now, if you're getting the business degree and you're set to complete it by, let's say, June 18th, 3, you can mark it as so there. Your Harbor College ID number, again, we'll go for ADT number 2 here. So put that in. Let's just say for convenience, this is the last day of spring semester. Okay, and then you could choose save and continue. And the next section asks about EOP. So if you're currently in EOPS, I highly recommend you apply for EOP. You want to indicate that you're in EOPS at Harbor College, and then you're going to put yes, that you want to apply to EOP for a Cal State. If you attended a CSU ever, were you enrolled in EOP? Most students haven't gone to a CSU yet, so they would put not applicable. If you are in any of the following programs like Puente, for example, let's say the student was in Puente for 2 years, or any other program, they can check yes here. Family information, where do you plan to live while attending college? You can choose either on-campus housing with parents, off-campus, or other. Say the student is going to live on campus. You can indicate any siblings attending school. Let's say I have 3 siblings in elementary, middle, and high school. Let me see, let's say I'm the oldest child, so I don't have any siblings in college. And then you can put what languages are spoken at home besides English, or you can put Spanish. English if both are spoken at home. And then if the student received anything such as CalWORKS, CalFresh, welfare, AFDC, TANF, Social Security, disability, etc., you can choose yes here. Let's say 10 years. Let's say SSI, for example. If the student was in section 8, for example, they can do section 8. School lunch program, just anything used, right? With if the student works to contribute to the household, you can say I work 30 hours per week while in college to help pay rent, car insurance, groceries. And anything else that you would like to add. I would say be as descriptive as possible. And then once you're done with this part, you can just go ahead and continue to the next one. And then they will ask you from there, parental and financial information. They'll ask if you're independent or dependent, and then financial income of 2 parents. And they'll ask also if you completed your FAFSA or your GMAT. They also have autobiographical questions. They are pretty extensive. So you're going to indicate, it asks about your family's economic background. Why would you like to attend college? Discuss career goals and personal goals. Any circumstances. Discuss your academic background. Did you utilize any additional support? Tutoring is one, EOPS is one, transfer center is one. If you come to the transfer center to get application help, to get an ed plan done, things like that, that's considered using educational support. If you were in Harbor Advantage, Harbor Promise, LA College Promise, put that in there too. If you were involved with any kind of program on campus, receive financial aid, right? You're going to put all of that here because they need to know that you were utilizing resources to help you because you're very motivated to succeed in college. Any volunteer or extracurricular activities or work experience you have. So you could put your work experience here. If you ever went on a field trip with the transfer center, you could put it here. If you were in EOPS and did your contacts and went to the workshops, you can put it here. If you come to the transfer center for application support, you can also put it here, just anything you've done. And then any additional information you would like EOP to consider in determining your admission to the program. So you're going to be extremely descriptive with all of these responses, okay? Because they really only have a little bit of space for students to be in EOP. So you really need to make sure that you show that you have high financial need. You're going to benefit very much from the support that EOP provides, and that you really would appreciate being able to be chosen. And then you can add recommenders. If you need to add a recommender, you can talk to an instructor, a counselor, a staff member at our college, somebody from work, anyone, to go ahead and enter, ask permission if they'll allow you to enter their information so they can be a recommender for you, okay? And once you're done with that section, it will be completely full. And the last section that I'm going to go over is program materials. So for Cal State Fullerton, they're going to ask you some questions. Mainly it's if you understand that there's a COVID vaccine requirement. And as long as you agree, you can choose save and continue. And then for Dominguez, you can go to questions. And it's just going to ask you if you're interested in being a doctor, dentist, veterinarian, or healthcare professional, if you would like to talk to a pre-health advisor. So you can choose yes or no. Okay, and then once that's done and all the sections are green, you can go ahead and submit your application. So as you can see in this case, all the boxes have the green check marks completely done. Now you can go ahead and click submit application. And as you can see, the student qualifies for a fee waiver. So that means they don't have to pay for the application. So they can go ahead and hit submit all. And it'll just go ahead and go through the application. You can choose continue, and then it'll process your information and you'll be done with your application. Now, I really would prefer for students to come into the transfer center and see us so we can review your application and verify that everything is complete and perfect before you submit it. The deadline is November 30th, so you have time to see us and we can assist you. I'll go ahead and link our Zoom link below for you in the description of this video, as well as a CSU application tutorial, physical guide from the Cal States that they provide. And I look forward to seeing you in the transfer center so that way we can assist you and review your application before you submit it. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great day. Bye.